O birther, mother, father of the cosmos, focus your light within us. Make it useful. Create your reign of unity now, through our fiery hearts and willing hands. Help us love beyond our ideals and sprout acts of compassion for all creatures. Animate the earth within us. We then feel the wisdom underneath, supporting all. Untangle the knots within so that we can mend our hearts, simple ties to each other. Don't let surface things delude us, but free us from what holds us back from our true purpose. Out of you, the astonishing fire, we return light and sound to the cosmos. Ashe and Amen. That is an Aramaic translation of the Lord's Prayer, sent in by Teresa Z. in response to this week's provocation to send something in for chapel. Teresa says, I find it stirring and wonderful and share it whenever I can. Thank you for sharing it with us, Teresa. Welcome to Fountain Street Chapel today. I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are and that the sun is shining upon you and within you and out from you. I had hoped to be outside somewhere doing this, but chose instead to be inside here because of some of the things that I have next to me. We have our candles that we'll use later. We have a singing bowl that we can use in meditation. We have our chapel promise here. You can create the life of deeper meaning and greater value that your heart desires. Help is available. It will take practice. I do wish we were together in the chapel at Fountain Street for this last Sunday of our program year, and that we could see each other and greet each other in person and talk together naturally. It's so much harder to do that on video, as hard as we've tried and as well as we've done over the last 3 months, thanks to Danny Heck and to James and our musicians and so many of you for taking part in this. But I trust that we will again be together soon. We have a few announcements as we begin. There'll be some slides of those in front of you. The online secret goods and services auction is still ongoing for Fountain Street, so check that out. The summer series will start next week, and those will also be aired just like we've been doing online and then available afterwards. So if you get a chance this summer to check out those services that do come from the chapel space, there's a great lineup of speakers this summer, so enjoy that. And then today at 11 o'clock, Reverend Fred Wooden will be preaching his final farewell sermon to Fountain Street on YouTube via our YouTube channel as well. So check that out either after this service or later in the week. And we are so grateful for Fred's leadership over these past 15 years and wish him the best and Wendy in the next stage of their journey. And now we welcome back our band to do a favorite and one that I believe takes us into not only this moment in history, but into the summer. Learning to Fly.
down, break your heart, steal your crown. So I've started out for God knows where. I guess I'll know when I get there. I'm learning to fly, but ain't got wings. Coming down, the hardest thing. Learning to fly, but ain't got wings. Coming down, the hardest thing. I'm learning to fly around the clouds. What goes up must come down. I'm learning to fly. I'm learning to fly. Learning to fly. Learning to fly. Learning to fly. Learning to fly.
Thank you, as always, for our chapel band, for leading us in learning to fly. Well, the good old days may not return, and the rocks might melt, and the sea may burn. I'm learning to fly. Take this moment to light our candles of remembering and keeping. The good old days we remember differently. Sometimes good old days for some people were bad old days for others. And so we move on to a new time. May not be sure where we're going, but we're working and hoping and doing everything we can to make it better so that everyone can fly and have a safe landing. So we light our candle of remembering. I invite you to remember what it is from chapel this year that sticks with you. Remember all of the songs, the art, the ritual, the messages, the people, the feelings, the change. Remember it all. Just take a moment to go over your heart, mind, body, soul, reflections on chapel over this past year. And then consider what it is you want to keep. What is it that you, from chapel this year, intentionally want to hold on to as that remembering moves through this space into a place of keeping? What will you hold on to? How will you continue to grow and transform through seeds that have been planted in your soul through chapel this year? Pick one or two things. And how, as you keep that, will you also share it with others? We move then from remembering and keeping into our meditation. And so I invite you to find a comfortable seat. That's one thing about doing this video chapel thing. You have probably more comfortable seats than you've ever had in chapel. Whether you're outside or inside on your couch or in your bed or laying on the floor, find a comfortable position. For many of us, that means both feet on the floor, our backs upright, so that our breath can flow most easily and so that we are connected to the earth and up through ourselves, connected to the sky, to the cosmos, to all that is. And once you've taken that seat, found that space, I invite you to just take some normal breaths that you're aware of, that you're conscious of, to do it intentionally. Just some breathing in and out. And then after a few moments of that, take one breath and let it out as far as you possibly can. Let it get all the air out of you. Clean all of that old air out of you. Breathe it out as far as you can before then taking a deep breath in. Now that you're centered, continue that deep breathing. Feel it go down deep into your belly, to your base, and out up through your back, through your heart, through your head and out your crown. Keep breathing. And I invite you to hold your hands in a cupped formation. And in your hands, imagine everything that you have. In particular, all of your material possessions, everything that you own. Imagine them in your hands, and that you're holding them closely and tightly there. Feel it all. Once you've got it all imagined there, then close the top and hold it. Hold everything that is yours. Keep breathing. And now start to open your hands. And start to let it go. Let go of everything that belongs to you. Feel as your hands open all the way up to a flat position. Feel all that is yours flowing out to the hands that are next to you virtually, and the things that are in their hands flowing into your hands, back and forth. Recognize that nothing is ours alone, that we hold all things in common, that in our times of need, what others have flows to us, and in the times when others are in need, what we have flows to them. Feel, imagine that river flowing between all of us, between all of Fountain Street, between all in the city of Grand Rapids, all in West Michigan, all in Michigan, in our country and in the world. We are but holders, but stewards of all that is and all that we have, and we hold it together in common, a river flowing between, within, and through us. May we learn to be like our indigenous siblings around the world, who believe not that the land belongs to them, but that they and we all belong to the land. Meredith is now going to offer a poem that will continue to center and ground us and help us as we look forward to seeing one another in our mind's eye and eventually in person, and to help us practice learning to fly this summer.
It's a quiet morning out here on my patio. And I'm thinking about Andy's invitation to share some thoughts before we take a pause for the summer. And this poem came to mind from Hughes. It's called With That Moon Language. Admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, "Love me." Of course, you do not do this out loud. Otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in this world is dying to hear. Peace, friends, and thanks for the reflection of love I receive from all of you.
In that spirit of generosity, of holding all things together, and of sharing, we're invited now to offer our gifts into the life of Fountain Street, into the life of justice in our community. Half of the giving to Fountain Street Church goes out into the community. Half stays within Fountain Street Church so that we indeed continue to help one another and our world free the mind, grow the soul, and change the world. So needed right now. So we are invited to give generously. There's a link on the screen to give at fountainstreet.org, as well as text to give. And then you can always, of course, mail in a check or have your bank do that. During the offering, we're also going to see a couple other offerings from our artists in the community who are sharing some artwork with us. So enjoy that from Laura Corbiani and Renee Terrio. And then following the offering, Jennifer and John Willett will also be offering us a video of what is happening in their world right now and a message they want to share with Chapel for this summer.
Okay.
Hi, John and Jennifer here, and we're just going to show off a little summer project we've got going on here.
So we're building a front patio on our in our front yard, and we had to do a lot to get ready for this. One of the things we had to do was remove some plants that have been here for a long time that had very, very, very deep roots, and so it took a lot of energy and time to get those out. And then the other thing we had to do was remove about 6 trillion stones, and it took forever, and we're still finding stones, and we're sure that stones will pop up throughout the project.
And then after that, we're digging down through lots of dirt, hauling away truckload and truckload and truckload of dirt so that we can build a really good foundation to go underneath the bricks. I don't want to be resetting these. I don't want to be doing this again. I want to get it right the first time and get these bricks into place.
And then of course we run into roadblocks like this sprinkler head and that we discovered, and the shallow pipes for the sprinkler. And so we had to ask for help because we weren't quite sure how to work around this roadblock, and we're very sure it won't be our first roadblock that we run into.
Or our last.
Or our last.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I meant.
shout out to Moises Martinez at 616 Irrigation. He helped me figure all this out. So, and it's no mistake that this patio is in the front yard. It's outward facing. It's for the neighborhood, for us, but to face and to be part of the neighborhood. So thanks. We are absolutely blessed to be a part of this community, and we are looking forward to joining in and being back together face to face in person real soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful summer.
And a safe summer and a healthy summer. Miss you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, John and Jennifer, for sharing that work with us. Indeed, this is a time when we are digging deep into ourselves individually and as a community, to root out those things that we no longer want to be present and to be a part of us, to take out those rocks that stand in the way of our free-flowing, full life in full community with everyone. And it's true that even when we think we've removed all of those roots and those weeds and those rocks, we find more. This is an ongoing process in which we continue to practice, which we continue to receive and to use and be a part of the help that is available, and then to offer that help out into others. Some of you know I love kayaking. This is the perfect time of year. I went out a couple times last weekend. It was so gorgeous, so wonderful. And I floated by someone fishing in the river, in the Rogue, just nearby here, who said, "Hey, what's going on? What's happening?" And I said, "It's a beautiful day. No better place to be. And also a revolution is happening. A revolution. A turning of that soil to get rid of what is no longer producing and in many ways never has produced the kind of growth that we need and we want." This moment in history is profound. It's an understatement, right? We have COVID-19 going on, teaching us so much about the impact of our ecosystems on us and how powerless we can be in the face of that, and how powerful we can be in the face of it. We have Black Lives Matter. Rejuvenated. Again. After so many other times, but this time we hope and we pray and we believe and we see that it looks different, that we're going to see real change, deep change, cultural change. We've seen places like NASCAR who said no more Confederate flags. We see Minneapolis dismantling their police system and putting in something that looks more like public safety and community building and caring for one another. We've asked our police to do too much, to be social workers and peacekeepers and mediators, but then trained them primarily with weapons of violence and said, go be a peacekeeper, go be a mediator, go be a social worker. And here's the tools we give you, tools of violence, and a system that was set up to be violent, to capture runaway slaves. So we're seeing real reform there. And there are so many other places it needs to happen. We must continue to work on policy change. And the other two pieces that are going on right now and have been ongoing, of course, the climate crisis. Believe it or not, people are more hopeful now that we can impact climate change. The people who do the research around this were so surprised, frankly. They thought people would be less concerned about it, but they're more concerned about it. And the reason the researchers think that is that people see that we can come together to change things, from COVID-19 to Black Lives Matter. That maybe we hope that we can come together to work on climate change. And fueling some of this change as well is the economic despair that people have been dropped into over the last 40 years. When you look at the charts of wealth disparity and how wealth has become more concentrated into the hands of the wealthiest in our country in particular, then you also look at studies like the one that just came out this past year that show that an average working family in 1980 took 30 weeks to earn all they needed to pay for the basics of their family. 30 weeks out of 52 in the year. Now, for a white male wage earner, it takes 53 weeks. And, of course, it takes a lot more weeks if you are a female wage earner, if you're a person of color wage earner. Then we start to get into 60 and 70 and 80 weeks it takes to make 1 year's worth of expenses. There is an economic despair that if we do not address it, if we do not come together, will continue to explode along with the movement for people of color. Things are broken. And in some ways, and some of you have seen this, we need to let them break so that they can break open and we can have new ways of being together. It is our opportunity right now to listen, in particular to listen to people of color, to amplify their voices, and to take this opportunity to share our privilege, to do what is asked of us in this moment by them, to let Indigenous Black people of color lead us in how we can share our privilege, how we can share our wealth. Many of us, we don't think about this often, but are caught up in the system in so many ways. One of them is financially. If we watch our retirement accounts, our investments fall and get concerned about that, those investments are being built by extracting profit at the cost of not paying people a living wage, at the cost of not offering benefits so that the market can do well. And this change, this revolution that we are seeing right now, is one that is moving away from prioritizing profit, moving away from prioritizing property, and moving towards prioritizing people, moving towards prioritizing community. We must move there, away from prioritizing profit, economic efficiency, and property, and toward prioritizing people, all people. Smashing that myth of individualism and self-reliance on which so much of our current culture, society, and economic system has been built, into a place where, like in our meditation, we recognize that we are interconnected and that we actually live that way. I'm choosing right now hope. And I'm choosing to work towards that hope, and I invite you to do the same. The hope that we can have a world that prioritizes people, a world where no longer some people are more prioritized than others, where some are superior or inferior to others, where white supremacy no longer lives and reigns. I choose hope. I believe we are moving to that place, and that you and I can be a key piece of it in doing all the small things that we're called to do. To fight for just education, to work toward health care for everyone as a right and not as a privilege if you happen to work for somebody that offers health care benefits, to living wages, to prison reform, to climate change, justice, climate justice. I choose hope. And I choose hope for Fountain Street Church. As many of you know, this is my last Sunday with you. It's been 18 wonderful months of being the interim chapel minister, and for that I thank you. And I am so hopeful about the future of Fountain Street Church and the role it will play in building a better world right here in Grand Rapids and West Michigan, and impacting our whole state and even our country. We have incredible resources of our building, of our finances, and most importantly of the people and of the community who make up Fountain Street. I know you all. There's about around 150 people or so who make up the chapel community. 60 of us showed up in person regularly each week. Now, goodness, almost everyone, it seems like, is showing up at some point during the week to this virtual chapel experience. We have incredible community organizing potential. We have amazing talents around beauty and the arts that lift our vision, that help our imagination of what a world can look like. And I choose hope. And I choose to work for that hope with Fountain Street Church, and I invite you to continue to do the same. In the midst of that hope, we must continue to listen and to change how Fountain Street operates. It will change with new leadership. And we will if we listen. And if we take action, if we're willing to change, we can become that community of equity and inclusion that we want to be. I believe and I choose to hope and choose to work for Fountain Street being an outpost of love in our community, a center of justice, and a sacred space of healing and of coming together to build community. That's what chapel has been for me, and I hope it's been for you. An outpost of love, a center of justice, a sacred space of healing and growth. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for all that you are doing in the world to free the mind, grow the soul, change the world, to indeed create not only your own lives of deeper meaning and greater value that your heart desires, but to do that communally, to build the life together of deeper meaning and greater value that our hearts desire. And so it is now that I let go of this role of interim chapel minister. We celebrate this great time we have had together and all the things that you have taught me. Thank you. All the ways that you have loved me and cared for me. Thank you. And I also ask your forgiveness for the ways and times that I have let you down or not lived up to what I had hoped or what you had hoped. I ask your forgiveness in that, as I forgive you for any of those times. I release you from being parishioners who relate to me as pastor. We are now all members together of the Fountain Street community. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the blessing that you have been to me, and I look forward to continuing to walk on this journey together of deeper meaning and greater value.
Hello, fellow chapelers. This is Ken and TJ Norris, and we were thinking about how it seemed like just a few weeks ago that we were all in chapel talking about what we had done over the summer of 2019. And here it is heading into the summer of 2020. The time went by very, very quickly. We hope everyone this year has a great summer, that you stay healthy, you have some adventure, and you fight for the causes that you know are right.
And we particularly want to say to Andy that we appreciate all that he has done, all the work, all the leadership, all the good advice that he has given. We look forward to a continued relationship with him as we look forward to the future with Fountain Street Church and with the chapel. We hope you have a very good summer.
Have a great summer, everyone.
Rocks might melt, the sea may burn. I'm learning to fly, but ain't got wings. Coming down, the hardest thing. Some say life will beat you down, break your heart, steal your crown. So I've started out for God knows where. I guess I'll know when I get there. I'm learning to fly, but ain't got wings. Coming down, the hardest thing. Learning to fly, but ain't got wings. Coming down, the hardest thing. I'm learning to fly around the clouds. What goes up must come down. I'm learning to fly. I'm learning to fly. Learning to fly. Learning to fly. Learning to fly. Learning to fly.
Friends, may we leave this space together today in peace and in love. I'm going to extinguish our candles of remembering and keeping. They do not go out, but they are transformed. We breathe them in and know that we are connected, that that light of the cosmos shines within us, and that that astonishing fire returns from us in light and sound to the cosmos and to one another. I say go in peace, and you say love. Go in peace and go in peace and go in peace and love.